Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And on today's episode, archaeologists have discovered more than 1,000 artifacts between Notre Dame Cathedral, or Notre Dame, however you pronounce it.
Yep. Yeah.
Notre Dame.
I know, go fighting Irish.
That's not confusing at all.
But when Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris was the site of a blaze that nearly burned it down. How many years ago has it been? It's been a couple.
2022.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was after the fire, it triggered a French preventative law or a law on preventative archaeology, which allowed them to undertake scientific study and research of the site as it underwent renovations, and they began the excavations and work in February of 22.
Yeah. No, the fire broke out on April of 2019.
Oh my god.
It's
Yeah,
been
it's been
Has
a
it
five
hot
years.
been
minute.
that
Yeah,
long?
it's been 5 years.
Half a
But
decade, Aaron.
yeah, they did this extraction 2 years ago. They've cataloged everything, and now they're coming back to us with. So here's what we found when we removed all the rubble.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot, but there is a definite lag and a delay between when the archaeology work actually happens versus when the research actually comes out. And this comes from teams from the Institut National de Recherches Archéologiques Préventives, the
Nope.
National Institute for Preventative Archaeological Research. And it officially, they were only given about 5 weeks to dig under the stone floor and were allowed to dig about 16 inches beneath the floor, so about as deep as the scaffolding would eventually go.
Only 16. Oh,
Yep.
But you also got to remember, Aaron, Paris has been occupied for over a millennia, so like
oh
there's
right. There's a certain after a certain point they would just fall right into the catacombs.
you just hit everything.
I think they'd fall into the Seine. Notre Dame's on that island, isn't it?
It is.
Oh
Which they
yeah.
also did some underwater investigations too, I believe. But it was during these investigations that the researchers found 1,035 artwork fragments, along with over 100 additional graves. You made the joke about the catacombs, which brings the cathedral's total to more than 500 burials. And they found so many coffins, a lot of scattered bones. But one of the coolest things that they found was the lead sarcophagus that may potentially belong to poet Joachim de Bellay, which is one of the more notable burials of the site. So it's just
Yep.
absolutely
And,
incredible.
and to
Is it
prove
not
how
walking?
French Dubélé was, his most famous work, its title when translated to English is effectively A Defense and Illustration of the French Language.
Oh.
It's a treatise on why French is better than every other language in existence.
Yeah, that's pretty French.
Yep.
But it's
Even worse, Parisian.
but this is one of the more, I don't know how best to phrase it. It's a good unfortunate situation because it's unfortunate that it got to this point, but the research that comes out of it is incredible and it gives us an opportunity to go where we're normally not able to. Archaeology is a very destructive practice. So a lot of times they'll avoid doing it on active sites unless there is a specific research goal or a need to.
Like a fire.
Well, and one of the more important examples in North America is 9/11. After the towers
Oh
went down,
right.
they did a massive archaeological study under the foundations of the buildings. And they actually found a 17th century ship that was intentionally grounded and beached as a landfill project in lower Manhattan.
Yeah, all of New York is basically at this point half boat.
Yeah, it's all landfill. They literally filled in the land. So it's an interesting situation. And beyond the burials, they found life size heads and torsos of limestone statues, including one of Christ, 13th century jubei, which Colin, what is that? A jubei?
So I gotta find the word again because it's
It's
um
in that
I'm
paragraph.
more I'm more
I was
curious
looking at
about
the I was looking at a I was looking at some of the 100-year-old oak trees that were used that came up in the excavation.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, there's some 100-year-old oak trees, about 49 feet long, uh, that appear to have been a number of used as a number of beams and stuff within the rubble, or you know the
Ooh.
under part of
Well,
this
and a
place
lot
where
of
they store.
rope would hold the wood beams together, and they would be used for transport. They'd make wooden rafts out of them.
This is also apparently they found
Oh,
the oldest clamps dated to about the 1160s, making Notre Dame the first Gothic cathedral using iron as a
Oh
building
my
material.
god.
That's fucking cool.
so like a jubei is a sort of meridian within the church. It demarcates a couple different spaces into more sacred and less sacred. It's typically placed be in front of where the choir would sing,
Mm.
sort of as a means of signifying this music, well being made with earthly human voices, is of heaven. So it actually can become very, very decorative.
Interesting. So they found that from the 13th century. And then the other thing that they were able to discover and uncover is stone cutting techniques that you could see on the rocky surfaces, along with the reuse of materials, which they discovered over among second roof over the choir from the 13th century. So they found them in close proximity, but the cool thing here, and it kind of it makes a lot of sense when you really boil it down, where it's just, you know, people hauled these rocks from somewhere, they brought them in. They're not going to let a little misshape or mishap really ruin the use of it. They're going to flip it over and carve it into a form that works best for them. You're going to see material reused. And then they also were able to map out and see the cathedral's foundations, which show how it actually distributes the weight of the building. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a
Things
cool
you think
thing.
would be important to know that we would know that we actually don't. Like, how is this thing standing?
Yeah, we
We just know
usually
it
have no
is.
idea. Yeah, because they built it such a long time ago, and this is effectively artwork that we have lost to time. We still may understand the building techniques, we still have a general idea, but we don't know for sure until we can go out there and validate
Or attempt to do it
it.
ourselves,
Experimental
which
archaeology is a real thing.
again, also takes time, effort, money.
Experience, skill.
Also, the article also shows that the Notre Dame officially reopens on Sunday, December 8th.
Yay, we
Ooh.
did it.
So just a couple, 2 days after this video releases, I believe, right? Is that Sunday or is that a Monday?
Sunday.
Sunday. Oh, so it'll be tomorrow from the time you guys see this.
Now remember, when you go in, put out the cigarette.
Very interesting article, very cool. And I think that's probably a good point for us to wrap up. Let us know what you think down below, and we'll see y'all in the next one.